We started in our hometown. The idea was to use tech to fix Fresno. It felt natural. Teach our neighbors to code, surround them with good places to work, and put all of it inside of a building everyone could be proud of. That would definitely make things better, right? Everyone thought we were nuts. I mean, they kind of had a point, but we did it anyway. Then a couple of people showed up and took classes, and they were as good as we hoped they'd be. And almost immediately, companies wanted to be around that. The energy was just magic. A little building turned into a big building turned into a bunch of big buildings, and all of a sudden, it was 5 years later, and we were doing it. It was working, and people started to notice. People got interested and excited and invited us to come talk in their towns. They wanted to show us the people and the places that they cared about. And at first, we didn't care about those things. But then, we started to a little bit. I mean, here's this town that we never thought twice about as we drove past. And we're meeting people that felt and looked like the folks we cared about so deeply back home. They had this proud history too, right? Dolores and Buck, oil and ag, and their challenges, they just felt super familiar. And these are people we'd want to work alongside to better their city. And before we knew it, it was a Bitwise Bakersfield. And then we thought we were done, until everything starts to open up in this little city 45 minutes north. Again, I mean, we don't know anything about this place, but something's happening there. How these people land to UC? They're building what in their downtown? If you guys did all of that, man, we think we got a bit of value to add to this, like a fork in the road in Merced. It feels like Bitwise could really matter in Fresno, and in Bakersfield, and in Merced. It feels like we can do something important, something that allows all of us to enjoy the best versions of our hometowns.
Bienvenidos al evento Bitwise Industries Download. Mi nombre es Norma Cardona y yo soy la vicepresidenta de Bitwise Industries en Merced, California. Es un placer estar hoy con ustedes. Bueno, hay que empezar. Welcome to Bitwise Industries Download event. Good morning to our West Coast people, and good afternoon to our Central and East Coast time people. My name is Norma Cardona. I am the Vice President of Bitwise Industries in Merced, California, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Today, what you'll hear from me is my story, the story of Bitwise, and the Bitwise why, and the steps that we're taking to protect our humans during this time. After me, you'll hear from three amazing individuals whom I have the honor of working with. You'll hear from Chris Merrida, Miguel Hernandez, and Rosie Quiñones. So you might be asking yourself, what does a VP do? I know that I've gotten this question during the last 4 months that I've been here. And so what that means, it means that I have the great privilege of working and making a difference in the city of Merced. As a VP, I get to connect to Mercedians, to spread the good word about Bitwise Industries and the opportunities we bring to the communities. I get to forge relationships with Merced area residents and leaders so that everybody gets the download, see what I did there, on all things Bitwise Industries. And more importantly, or just as important, I also get to form partnerships to solve some of our community's most pressing problems. And to solve some of our community's most pressing problems, it requires a lot of resiliency. It requires for us to fall down and get back up and not give up at solving some of our community's biggest issues. And so the Bitwise story is a story of resiliency, is a story of falling down, choosing to climb back up, dusting ourselves off, and to continue little by little to put one foot in front of the other. Knowing that every action of resiliency, every single time that we get back up and we take a step forward is an opportunity for us to learn, for us to grow, and by extension, for our families to also grow, and for them to learn as well and grow with us. And Opportunities are what made my dreams come true. It was really a combination of two things that helped me: opportunities and people. Well, I mean, resiliency and people. That's really what helped me achieve my goals and my dreams. Really, the most important part, or just equally as important as the innate resiliency that we all have within us, are the people who on my life's journey helped me along the way, either by presenting opportunities to me or inspiring me to take and make opportunities for myself. So I grew up in a mobile home park in Santa Maria, California, and most of my young life, I was really embarrassed about that. And truthfully, now I'm embarrassed for being embarrassed about that. I'm actually very proud of what my mom was able to provide for us. And so because I lived in a mobile home park, I always wanted to buy my own home, and I most definitely wanted to move out of Santa Maria. So I ended up graduating from a university. I came to Merced, and I was able to achieve a lot of those dreams. It was because of Mr. Adler, because of Mrs. Moreno, because of Ms. Schneider, back in Santa Maria. And here in Merced, I had people along the way: Mr. Cisneros, Ms. Rivas, Ms. Molar, Dr. Benz, who along the way ended up giving me or presenting opportunities to me and inspiring me to take opportunities. And so now I'm a first-generation high school graduate, first-generation college graduate, first-generation homeowner, and a white-collar worker, and I get to make a difference in my community. Because of these opportunities, I was able to serve on Parks and Rec. I was able to do participatory budgeting. So if it weren't for these people around me giving me opportunities or presenting opportunities for me to ultimately make the choice of taking those on, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so in a similar way, Bitwise Industries is asking you, are you willing to fall down? And every single time that you fall down, are you willing to get back up? If it's a yes, then join us. Are you willing to be a courageous learner? If yes, then join us. Do you give others a hand up? Do you help your family members, or by extension, your neighbors? If yes, then join us. We've been waiting for you. And let me remind you, no one belongs here more than you. We are here at Bitwise. We have people who are willing to walk this journey with you. We have Stephanie Moreno, Jason Cooksey, Floyd Munoz, Stacy McDonald, who are here to walk this journey with you. If you get back up, if you bravely push past the zones of your comfort, and if you want to add to your community, then join us. We have opportunities to offer to you. And so before we get our stars out here on stage to share with you some of these opportunities, there's a little bit of Bitwise history that I just want to make sure to touch on. With that said, let me fill you in a few key points. We have two co-founders, which are Jake Soberal and Irma Olin Jr., who both grew up in the Central Valley with different beginnings, different dreams, but ultimately ended up here back in the Central Valley with similar goals: to make their community better. They both ended up going away to college and made their way back to Fresno. Jake came back as an attorney and Irma as a software engineer. They both had a heart for Fresno, our Central Valley, and us, the people that live here. And so Irma and Jake ultimately met when Irma needed an intellectual property attorney. And so there comes Jake. They started collaborating, which led to the realization that the technology industry had the potential to change lives and change communities. So they harnessed that potential and that opportunity and created Bitwise Industries in 2013. And a part of since the beginning, what's been there since the beginning is the culture to build community and to help one another. So we work to remove barriers to the opportunities that we offer. We believe in the rich, untapped potential of people who have been left out, people who have been pushed to the sidelines, people who have been marginalized. So we exist to upskill, uptrain people from oppressed and marginalized communities. People like from the LGBTQI plus community, formerly incarcerated people, people who were formerly houseless and experiencing homelessness, current and former young people in foster care, people of color, veterans, people with disabilities, and anybody else who's ever been or felt marginalized. That is part of We Exist. So much so that our ethos is no one belongs here more than you. And while also working in the tech workforce, what we're also doing is we're also, on top of all of that, we're also making a more diverse, equitable, inclusive, and accessible tech workforce. And so like I said, here we wholeheartedly believe that every person has something to offer, but not every single person, one, has had the opportunities, or two, the people around them to take those opportunities. When we invest in folks, it allows them to care for their friends, their families, by extension, their neighbors, their communities. And so those dollars that we invest in our people end up staying in our communities, thus making our communities more vibrant, more thriving places to live in. As you can tell, we're really passionate and intentional about making an impact for and with our Bitwise humans in our communities. And so with that being said, I just want to make sure to be a good neighbor and let you know, give you the 411 on what we're doing to keep our Bitwise humans safe during this public health crisis. So what we're doing is we continue to keep a close watch on the Delta variant in our Bitwise cities. Our organization had invested a lot of time and resources on our return to office programming, but made the decision to put this on pause due to the overwhelmed emergency rooms. We also continue to take the necessary steps to ensure the safety of our humans who are using our facilities by continuing to wear a mask indoors. We're also being very intentional about the usage of our buildings to keep people safe and healthy. For example, our people are only using our conference rooms to hold 20 people or less. Our office spaces beyond that, though, remain closed. We maintain a 6-foot distancing when possible and give attention to when meeting indoors. We give attention to the ventilation when meeting indoors. We're looking now to the well-being and safety of our Bitwise humans and our community. Understanding and adjusting to a new work routine takes time, trial, error, teamwork, and adjustment. Thank you. A special thank you to the RTO team. Okay, so far we learned a little bit about Bitwise Industries, our story, what we do, and what we stand for. So let's talk with some of our Bitwise humans about the great opportunities and experiences here at Bitwise. I'm gonna introduce Chris Merrida coming up to the stage. But first, I'd like to share this short clip with you, #1,000,000firsts.
I was told you would teach me how to code.
In just 6 weeks.
If I'm honest, I was a bit skeptical at first.
But after writing that first line of code and hitting refresh,
I was hooked.
You pushed me to work hard.
So I worked harder.
I was able to build things that weren't there before.
What I didn't know was that you would do so much more for me.
I didn't think I could be part of a revolution.
With thousands of people, just like me.
It was the first time I looked forward to going to class.
The first time I was surrounded by people eager to learn.
The first time someone genuinely believed in me.
I never thought I could hold the power
to impact my city through technology.
This environment.
These people.
There's nothing like it.
There's no going back now.
Thank you, Norma, for that introduction. And hello, everyone. And thank you all so much for coming out to hear a little bit more about Bitwise. My name is Chris Merrida, Director for Growth and Recruitment, and I'm here to answer some of your questions today. Let's get to it. Our first question is, what is Bitwise Workforce Training? Workforce Training is our way and our program of coming into our communities and helping to both upskill and reskill individuals within our area. What we're really about is how do we go about providing opportunities to expose individuals to possible careers in technology to those who otherwise would not have the opportunity, who would not have the chance. So what we're about is equipping you with those technical skills that will provide you with the opportunity of long-term upward economic mobility, not just for yourself, but also for your community. And so how that takes place is both through our pre-apprenticeship program and through our apprenticeship program. And we'll get into that in just a little bit with some of our other questions. Now, you say, what are the classes that you offer and what is the cost? Well, let's just break it down a little bit. When it comes to our workforce training program, it's broken down into 3 major phases. The first is what we like to call self-evaluation. That is any chance, any opportunity for you to come and learn more about our program and to make a decision about whether it's a right fit for you. Case in point, this event here today is what we would like to call a self-evaluation event. Secondly is what we call our pre-apprenticeship program. After you've come and you've gotten some information and you're saying to yourself, hey, this sounds awesome. This sounds like something that I want to be a part of. Then you can sign up for our courses. Now you say, well, what are those that you offer? We offer 4 pre-apprenticeship courses that are really focusing around web development and front-end development. The first is our Websites for Beginners course, allowing you the opportunity to understand the basics of building a web page, HTML, hypertext markup language, or even CSS, cascading style sheets. Our second course is mobile friendly. That is when you understand the basics of websites, but now you're going to make those things mobile friendly. So if you're utilizing it on your mobile device, your cell phone, your iPad, will that website be flexible? Will it be fluid? Will it allow individuals who are utilizing those devices to have the best experience? Absolutely. Our third is our JavaScript for beginners. That is allowing you to have a little bit more of those bells and whistles, a more interactive website. And lastly, but definitely not the least, is our React, which a little bit more complex, but it allows you the opportunity to have a website that can pull from different databases to create a more interactive experience. You may say, well, what is the cost for all of this? We like to keep our costs affordable for everyone. That way we can keep all barriers to entry low, because the important thing is we want to be able to provide you with that experience. All of our courses, which are 6 weeks long, are $250. That price has remained the same since we began, and we are going to be committed to keeping our prices affordable so that you can have the opportunity to be exposed to our training. Do you need to have prior experience? Fantastic question. No, you do not. When it comes to Bitwise, what we're all about is making sure that we're providing opportunities to individuals within the community. So we're not trying to be like anyone else. What do you need in order to be able to come into our program? Well, simple enough. You need grit and determination. You need the willingness to contribute to the success of others, and the willingness to really be about community, because community is really our secret sauce. So you don't need to have any experience, no degrees, not even a diploma. All we are looking for are individuals who are committed to coming in, being a part of our community, and helping us uplift everyone around us. Do you offer any financial assistance? Fantastic. Absolutely, we do. For those of you who need some financial assistance with regard to taking our courses, please make sure to come visit our website, and we'll make sure to connect you with one of our student success specialists. We'll offer an array of different financial options, whether that's payment plans or whether that's scholarships. We can do those things as well, but we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to be exposed to our training. How long are the courses? They are 6 weeks long, and they are in 3-hour sessions twice per week. So each course is around 36 hours, where we provide you with the hands-on project-based learning. So just know that when you come inside of our classroom with an instructor there, usually one in which we've gone through our program, so they know the audience and they understand the individuals in which we're training, or whether it's the TA that you have, or whether it's even the student success specialist, you have an array of different individuals who are going to be able to help you over that 6-week course. What will I be able to do after taking a Bitwise workforce training classes? Fantastic. Well, you actually have a couple of options that you can take with regards to this. You can either apply for our apprenticeship program, and that is a 1-year-long opportunity, paid, full-time, and you have the opportunity to opt into medical benefits. So that's one option. Or you can go off and apply for opportunities within the community, right? Whether that's something you do on your own, or whether we're sharing opportunities with you as well, which we normally do as we collaborate with different partners in the community. So you have 2 chances there. You can either go out directly into the community and get an opportunity after you've completed those courses, or you can apply for our year-long paid full-time apprenticeship opportunity. I hope we were able to answer your questions for today, and we hope to see you in one of our courses very soon. Pitching it back to Norma.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing with us the details of the workforce training program opportunities coming down the pipeline or offered here at Bitwise Industries. And you got to see the video of Million First. And sometimes, we have the opportunities for you to experience a million firsts. And sometimes the opportunities that we get are the second chances that we need. With that said, I'd like to welcome Miguel Hernandez. And before he joins us on stage, we'd like to play another intro video to Miguel.
Hey, hello, what's up, everybody? I would like to introduce myself. I'm Miguel Hernandez, currently working at Bitwise Industries. I'm on the online marketing team, and I'm currently an online marketing analyst. And I kind of wanted to explain my story and how I got introduced to Bitwise, how it changed my life, you know, and kind of the struggles I went through with going through that, and hopefully I can inspire some people along the way too. So it's kind of a long story, so stick with me. It gets good parts, trust me. So it started off fresh out of high school. You know, it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of a struggle for me graduating in general. You know, I was kind of, you know, stuck at home with kind of a toxic situation at the house. A lot of, you know, drug involvement, a lot of crime around. And it was just kind of eventually getting to me towards the end of the years. And I just didn't really know like what path to take towards the end of the year alone. I wasn't even sure if I, you know, cared about graduating. I didn't really have a lot of motivation. But, you know, eventually I did go through with all the credits and making sure I was graduating on time. But I was still, you know, partaking in a lot of criminal activity towards the end of the day or after school towards the weekends. So more or less I was doing the right thing, but I still never decided to mature or grow up or try to learn my lesson. And eventually, after graduating, I was back into that same rut, just without the shield of school blocking me or something stopping me from going full-fledged into it. So at that point, I was just, you know, I just kind of went back to what I knew best, being outside all the time, you know, just moving from city to city and just kind of staying involved in that lifestyle until, you know, eventually I put it on hold for a while. And I actually tried going to Fresno City to get involved in HVAC, but still I was too used to, you know, the past life, and I was still engaging with like, you know, some drug use, some alcohol use, being out till like 4 a.m. doing, you know, God knows what. And eventually that led to me dropping out of Fresno City to go back to focus on more crime activities. And that led to me being incarcerated in 2019, December 11th for residential burglary. And at that point I was 20 years old and I was already facing up to 4 to 6 years in federal prison. And at that point, I was ready to, you know, throw it all away, give up. This is the life that I wasn't meant to live, but now I have to live because I wanted to make a mistake or just make it quick, you know, a couple $1,000s or something. And eventually I just realized it wasn't worth it. But I realized that while I was incarcerated. So that was my biggest issue at the time. So at this point, I knew that I either needed to change my life or do what I need to do to survive. And I was tired of surviving. I've been doing that too much in my life. I wanted to see a change at least before something this traumatic happened in my life. So at this point, I'm on the phone with my girlfriend and my mother incarcerated in Fresno County. And apparently they had told me that my financial aid check from Fresno City had barely came in a year late, right? Thankfully, I did it late, you know. They always tell us, you know, do it early, but man, it came for a blessing this time. And we basically used that to bail myself out and to put the rest in for a lawyer because, you know, I didn't really want a public defender because my case was pretty serious and I wasn't really looking forward to that. So eventually, now I'm on the streets fighting my case. So before the court case is going to appear, I kind of wanted to show that that I'm still a person, because as soon as I walk in, a judge sees, you know, somebody who did this crime, and that's all they're going to see if you have no accolades to show for it. So I started going to classes. I started going to Workforce Connections youth program in Manchester Mall. And that's where I kind of got started with like my first real job that I've ever had. And it was kind of, you know, traumatic going through that experience and just realizing that, you know, it's not going to add up to anything. I'm still going to get incarcerated. But eventually I went through all these programs, got my certificates, these awards. I proved myself into the court, and I got 3 years of probation. And now I'm still out here. I'm currently still on probation on my 2nd year, but now I'm proving myself for my word. And eventually working there actually led me to being a part of Bitwise, because Stephanie went to that place, let them have a flyer, and that's how I got started with my first class at Bitwise Industries. And that's where I was introduced to a lot of other people who were in my situation. And it just turned into one of the best things I've ever been a part of, as far as family, like growing together and just being introduced to people I never thought existed in Fresno, to be honest with you. And it's just great being part of a positive light. And you know, it was just, you know, I thought I was in a rut. It was traumatizing getting that felony and knowing I could probably never get a job again. But Bitwise gave me a second chance. And thank you all for your time, by the way. Almost forgot. And thank you for your time. And I would love to introduce Norma back to the stage.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you so much for sharing your very inspiring story. Your story is another story of resiliency, the story that Bitwise continues to make and push forward to. And so I hope you were just as inspired as I was. And with that said, I'm going to invite Rosie Quiñones, who is a business development manager for our tech consulting arm of our tech ecosystem. Rosie, welcome.
Thanks so much, Norma. Hi, everyone. My name is Rosie. I am originally from Peru, and my background is in plant science and agricultural trading and sustainability. And I joined the Bitwise technology consulting team at the beginning of the year. What we do at Tech Consulting is listen to our customers to find and co-create technology solutions for their business problems. Anything from a business not having a web page or wanting a web page that has e-commerce and is more modern, to an educator who wants to have their curriculum available online for members, to a corporation who's looking for specific talent for a project, or it could be an entrepreneur that is trying to create the next social or gaming app that will change everything. So let's answer some questions about technology consulting. What is Bitwise Technology Consulting? So like I said, it's the branch of Bitwise that creates technology with clients. And what services do we have at Bitwise Technology Consulting, and what industries do we serve? We implement Salesforce. We help create mobile application. We create smart web pages. We can do work on an existing project like quality assurance, an evaluation of design, a security evaluation, or bring talent to a project through staff augmentation. Any industry actually can benefit from technology and take advantage of it. We have plenty of experience in agriculture because we are started in the Central Valley, but we also partner with cities and help them in the school districts, their educational departments. We've heard telecom companies. We're really big on real estate. We've created educational apps, so really any industry. Another question we normally get is that Bitwise Technology Consulting only work with clients where there's a Bitwise building. Definitely not. I'm lucky enough that I'm in Oakland, where we'll open our offices next year, and that'll be amazing. But we actually have a team of tech consultants in over 20 cities in the US, from Cleveland, Ohio, to El Paso, Texas, to Spokane, Washington. So we're the engine of Bitwise expansion. And we serve companies from small family-owned shops to global corporations. Have we used apprentices to work for tech consulting projects? I would say oftentimes we do, as part of their training when they're ready. We want them to have the opportunity to work in real projects, but they're always under the supervision of a senior developer. And it also depends on the company timeline and preferences. We've actually had customers who want to work with apprentices in their cities because they share the mission and the values that we have of revitalizing their communities through technology. How can one know if our organization is right for their business problem? I would say there's a lot of technology developers out there, and anywhere from freelancers to global companies. But we are a full stack development house, which means you'll get a project manager, you'll get developers of all different levels of seniority and experience, developers that have skills in multiple languages. You'll have designers that will customize your user experience, architects, quality assurance, security, ADA compliance. So we have like a full house of offers. And our process is also deeply immersive and unique, just like the way Norma and Miguel were saying that we give a lot of support to our apprentices. We also give a lot of support and a consultative approach to our customers. And we meet them where they are as individuals. We really understand the problem so we can create the solutions with them. So it's a conversation that can take multiple meetings with our solutions engineering team to really find the right approach. So if you want a project with us, how can you contact us? Go ahead and visit our webpage, bitwiseindustries.com, and you can also schedule a call with us or just ask a question about tech consulting specifically at techconsulting@bitwiseindustries.com, or give us a call at 559-500-3305. Definitely, if you have a friend who has an app idea or a business who's struggling with integrating a technology, we're here to help. So that is me. Thanks so much for having me on, Norma. Back to you now.
Hi, thank you so much, Rosie, for sharing with us what it is that tech consulting is and does. So far, you've heard from 3 amazing Bitwise humans. You've heard from Chris Merrida, who talked about the pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship opportunities that we offer here at Bitwise. You got an opportunity to listen to Miguel Hernandez, who took the opportunities from Bitwise and has transformed his life and continues to transform his life for the better. You also got to hear from Rosy Quiñones talk about tech consulting and the opportunities that we offer there. And she also touched upon the fact that our apprentices work with tech consulting to fulfill real life contracts of our top-notch solutions in tech consulting. So before I close out our event, I'd like to play one last video that showcases the positive ripple effects and the impacts that we have in our Bitwise cities.
I don't think people realize the potential that we have here in Fresno. I am starting to get a lot of phone calls from the Silicon Valley, from San Jose, San Francisco, Los Angeles, about people wanting to come into Fresno to develop, for industry to relocate here, manufacturing, as well as technology. So people are starting to see that we have potential and they want to help us reach it.
And so what separates Bitwise from so many others is those demonstrable examples, statistical, but behind every stat, it's a human being, human's journey. And the fact that you're delivering real jobs with multiples in terms of supports and salaries, that you're delivering into communities that need only the opportunity and the platform. And that's what you're providing in order to live their lives out loud.
And so we became aware of Bitwise through our research, and Kern Economic Development Corporation brought 30 people, as you said, to visit the Fresno campus in September 2017. I wanted what I saw that day at Bitwise in Bakersfield, and I wanted to find a way to make it happen in Bakersfield.
I think specifically, as it relates to Bitwise, I think in the realm of economic development, we have a lot of great opportunities. One is, and this is again specifically, you guys are right in the middle of this, building up a tech economy in Merced. We have UC Merced. We have what we hope is going to be really enhanced access via transportation to the Central Valley, to other parts of California as well. So starting to build a tech economy could have an enormous influence on employment in Merced.
What we have seen in the communities that we have been in or are in is that there's so much untapped potential in the folks living right in those cities that didn't have the opportunity to go to an Ivy League school and really just need to find a way to feed their families and take advantage of all that the great economy has to offer. And they just haven't been given that opportunity.
And this could be, the first of a number of dominoes that begin to position Toledo as a city with a diverse, diversified economy that can do manufacturing, can do the blue collar, muscle grease under the fingernails types of jobs, but can also work with our brains. The possibilities really are endless.
We were so inspired and captivated by Bitwise's effective model in creating a place for talent and an opportunity to connect and thrive.
This is a perfect video to highlight the potential that we have and the transformation that can happen in the Bitwise cities. And as a reminder, we are a company of resilience. We're a company of opportunity. We're a company about our humans. So join us. We've been waiting for you. And remember, no one belongs here more than you. So thank you everyone who took the time out of their day to attend today's download event. It has been a pleasure to be hosting with you. To stay up to date on all things Bitwise, please visit our website at bitwiseindustries.com or follow any of our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. If you have any questions that weren't answered today, please feel free to send your questions to info@bitwiseindustries.com. That's info@bitwiseindustries.com. And a special thanks to all the Bitwise humans who made this event possible and a success. A big shout out to the events team and Marcom team. Again, thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a really great weekend. And remember, no one belongs here more than you. Thank you for joining.